The assertion under discussion in this series of videos has been that Sikhi, as it is practiced today, is no longer the Sikhi that was gifted to us by our gurus. It is a spirituality that stands distorted, corrupted, and tainted. Our scripture, Gurbani, has been distorted through Vedic and Puranic slants in interpretations and translations. Our history has been muddled in unbelievable tales of miracles called Sakhis. The general conduct of Sikhi has come to be dictated by a clergy class, and our religious practices consist primarily of those smuggled in from rejected and discarded rituals of pre-1469 belief systems. In short, Sikhi today stands as a faith that has been hijacked from its unique path and equally distinct goals. Three powerful groups, all of which were fake, deviant, and/or anti-Sikhi, conducted this hijacking, by which is meant the distorting, corrupting, and contaminating of Guru Nanak's divine spirituality. They did so by controlling our institutions, controlling our literature, our historical narratives, and controlling our gurdwaras, and by extension, the fate and psyche of Sikhi for a long period of 207 years, from 1718 all the way until 1925. The first group is the Udasis, the followers of the disowned son of Guru Nanak, Sri Chanda, who had exclusive control of Sikh Gurdwaras and institutions for the first 60 plus years beginning 1718. The second group, a more powerful, more deviant, and a more capable group, namely the Nirmalas, would take over from the Udasis for a century and a half. The Nirmalas, on account of their Banaras education, their Banaras experience, and on account of their Brahmin roots, were much better equipped to distort and corrupt Sikhi in a way the Udasis could not even dream of. This is because the Nirmalas infiltrated into the inner sanctums of the Sikh psyche, namely our philosophy, literature, and Gurbani interpretation and translation, all areas in which the Udasis had not ventured into. In today's video, Pyareo, we will examine the damage done to authentic Sikhi by the Nirmalas through the corruption of Sikh literature. So let's begin by looking at some of the so-called classical texts and Puratan Itihas that were written by the Nirmalas, all of which numerous and voluminous texts have become deeply ingrained and deeply embedded within the Sikh psyche over the past 2 centuries. Nirmala Surat Singh wrote the Janam Sakhi of Guru Nanak, a highly distorted text of the life story of Guru Nanak. This Janam Sakhi was meant to fit the Guru squarely and completely into the Sanatan and Vedic frame. Nirmala Suraj Singh labelled it as Bhai Mani Singh Wali, meaning that the Janam Sakhi was authored upon direct consultation with Bhai Mani Singh Ji and as narrated by Bhai Ji. The use of Bhai Mani Singh's name is a lie and it's purposive. It's a lie because Bhai Mani Singh's Shahidi took place on the 24th of June 1734, while Nirmala Suraj Singh entered Punjab almost 30 years later after the Sarbat Khalsa of 1763. The lie is purposive because Suraj Singh and the other Nirmala writers realized that they were in the early stages of their infiltration into Sikhi and that authentic Sikhs may have apprehensions about texts written by Nirmalas, but would accept literature under the name of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Now, the Nirmalas were highly educated. They could have written under their own names, but because what they wrote was distorted, corrupted, and downright blasphemous, they had to hide their hand. They did so by hiding behind the names of respected Sikhs, or in some cases, hiding behind anonymity or even fictitious names. This act itself exposes their agenda, which was that they wanted to be the hidden hand behind the corruption and distortion of Sikhi, at least in the initial stages of their hijacking. They would subsequently muster the courage to write under their own names over time as the hijacking progressed and as more and more Sikhs lost the ability to separate the truths of Sikhi from the massive and insidious lies of the Nirmalas. Bhai Khan Singh Nabha and historian Harjinder Singh Dalgir have exposed two more major texts that were authored by Nirmalas as ghostwriters and put under the names of others. One of which is Gurbilas Patshahi Shemi. This is a deeply blasphemous and slanderous book about the life of Guru Hargobind Ji that was authored jointly by Nirmala Gurmukh Singh and Nirmala Darbara Singh during the period 1830 to 1840. Prior to Khan Singh Nabha's expose regarding its authorship, the Nirmalas had spread the lie that a non-existent individual by the name of Sohan Kavi had authored it. Historian Dr. Harjinder Singh Dalgir has exposed one of the reasons for the Nirmalas writing Gurbilas Patshahi Shemi, which was to turn Akal Bugha, which is basically a place of residence, into Akal Takht and make it appear that the decision for the setting up of the Akal Takht was made by the sixth Guru. The Akal Takht would serve as a tool of religious subjugation, as a headquarters for the Nirmala created clergy and an instrument for doctrinal control through the issuing of edicts and hukmnamas. It would also wield the sword of excommunication. The Akal Takht would be a Nirmala tool, in particular, to fend off or to prevent attempts to expose the Nirmala role in the hijacking of Sikhi. The excommunication of Professor Gurmukh Singh of the Singh Sabha Lehar in 1887 by the Nirmala-controlled Akal Takht, the first ever excommunication, is case in point. The professor's crime was that he had started to expose the Nirmala conspiracy through his voluminous writings in his newspaper, the Khalsa Akhbar. Given that the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji provides absolutely no support for the practice of excommunication, the creation of an institution vested with such powers and its pseudo and fake justification within the pages of Gurbilas Padshai Shemi became necessary for the Nirmalas. It is interesting to note that Gurbilas Padshai Shemi has remained a standard training text for our Sikh clergy today. It was banned in the 1970s by the Akal Takht due to its deviant, slanderous and deeply blasphemous content. In 1998, the same Gurbilas Padshai Shemi was republished by none other than the then head Granthi of Darbar Sahib, Gyani Joginder Singh Vedanti, who would later become the Jathedar of Akal Takht. It is a sign of almost complete subversion of Nirmala thought into modern day Sikhi that a new Nirmala breed had in 1998 gathered the courage to publish the offensive Gurbilas Padshai Shemi under their own names, something the original Nirmala writers Gurmukh Singh and Darbara Singh were unable to do. And the fact that people such as Nirmala Gyani Sant Singh Maskeen and the then SGPC President Gurcharan Singh Toda, among others, agreed to write the forwards for this blasphemous book speaks of the almost complete penetration of anti-Sikhi forces into the Sikh psyche at the close of the 20th century. In 2002, the deeply intellectual and courageous Gyani Gurbakh Singh Kala Afghana published a book titled Gurbilas Padshai Shemi, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji de Parkh Darbar Vich, or in English, Gurbilas Padshai Shemi examined in the court of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in which book he exposed para by para the blasphemy of Gurbilas Padshai Shemi. As a result of his writing, the blasphemous text was once again banned. For his expose of the fraud that was Gurbilas Padshai Shemi, Kala Afghana would pay a heavy price and suffer the same fate that Professor Gurmukh Singh of the Sikh Sabha suffered. Joginder Singh Vedanti, the author of the republished Gurbilas and then Jathedar of Akal Takht, moved to excommunicate Kala Afghana Ji. Another so-called classical text, authored by Nirmala Surat Singh, is the Bhagat Mal. This book contains fake and anti-Gurmat stories relating to the lives of the 15 Bhagats that have their Bani within the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The purpose of the Bhagat Mal is to embroil the Bhagats in Brahmanical ways and show the Bhagats as going to the Brahmin for their spiritual guidance, all for the purpose of corrupting the legacy of the Bhagats. The Nirmalas could not alter the divine Bani of the Bhagats as contained within the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So, they resorted to writing a distorted history of the concocted lives that the Bhagats are supposed to have lived. The fake history as documented by the Nirmalas in Bhagatamal, contradicts everything the Bhagats say in their own writings in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The widely accepted but fake story of Bhagat Tanna getting the darshan of God through worshipping a stone given to him by a Brahmin, and the equally fake narrative of Bhagat Namdev Ji using magical powers to spin a mandar to face him are two examples of the distortion that is the Bhagatamal. Now we know that both Bhagat Tanna and Namdev have made clear in their Bani that they rejected both the Brahmin and his mandar. Yet another Nirmala composed text is the Sikhadi Bhagatamal. This text contains concocted and unverified sakhis about specific Sikhs of the Gurus who lived during the lifetime of the 10 Gurus. The Nirmalas knew that authentic Sikhs would not accept this Sikhadi Bhagatamal. To achieve believability as well as to keep their hands hidden, the Sikhadi Bhagatamal was written under the name of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. The preface of this Sikhadi Bhagatamal says, Guru Gobind Singh Pacha instructed Bhai Mani Singh to write the Sikhadi Bhagatamal, who then proceeded to provide details of the lives of 9 selected Sikhs or 9 Sikh Bhagats. These are the 9 Sikh Bhagats: Ohri Jappu Vansi, Sinha Gajan, Chaudhary Bhagirath, Ajita Randhawa, Bhai Buda, Ferna Kehra, Bhai Jiva, Gujjar Lohar, and Nai Ting. The Sikhadi Bhagatamal provides concocted life stories of these 9 selected Sikhs. The Sakhis tell of how all of them engaged in Brahmanical and anti-Gurmat ways which were sanctioned by the Gurus. For example, Ohri Jappu Vansi obtained salvation through the 4 methods. Bhagiratha got his salvation as a Bhagat of Mata Kali or Durga. Ajita Randhawa is said to have got his salvation through the yogic penance. Buddha is said to have practiced 4 types of meditation: Nabi meditation, Para, Bakri, and Pasanti. These are the meditations of the yogis and have no place in Gurmat. Bhai Jiva is said, according to the Sikhadi Bhagatamal, to have obtained the blessings of Guru Angad through serving him khichdi daily, and so on. All in all, the Nirmalas are believed to have either authored or conspired to author more than 35 voluminous major classical texts and dozens more smaller ones. The impact of corruption and adulteration on such a massive scale is simply beyond measure. It is worth noting that the Rahatnamas have not escaped the Nirmala scheme of adulteration. It is for this reason that one finds injunctions that are totally and completely anti-Gurmat in these Rahatnamas. Anti-woman commands, directives that advocate the use of drugs and liquor, and the involvement of Hindu mythological gods and goddesses during the 1699 Khande Deepal ceremony are examples of dictates that are found in the Rahatnamas authored by the Nirmalas, hiding behind the names of prominent Sikhs who were contemporaries of the 10th Guru. It is interesting to note that most texts composed by the Nirmalas have a standard sort of an outline. Each text or each portion begins with a Sikh posing a question to the Guru. And the Guru's answer serves two objectives. One, it allows the Nirmala writers to add Brahmanical stuff. And second, it allows the Nirmala writer to put the deviant reply under the name and authority of the Guru in his capacity as providing an answer to the question by the Sikh. For instance, Pyareo, the Ratnama under the name of Bhai Daya Singh has a section where Guru Gobind Singh is asked to define celibacy. Shri Satgur Vach, अब बेहंगम के लक्षण, जगत में माया का संग त्याग मर रहा, स्त्री को देखत भागे धन के हेत ना लागे। एक सर्वलोह की गड़वी राखै, धातु का स्पर्श ना करे, शहर में ना रहे, स्त्री के हाथ का अन्न ना सके। Why is Bhai Daya Singh, a family man, asking Guru Gobind Singh, also a family man, to define a celibate? Why is the Guru talking about celibacy when he knows fully well Sikhs and Sikhi has no place for celibacy? Now the people who believe in celibacy are the Nirmalas. So they are putting a question into Bhai Daya Singh's mouth and putting an answer into the 10th Guru's mouth, thus laying the foundation for the distorted and corrupted belief that celibacy is approved and accepted in Sikhi. So here is the translation. The Satguru spoke, now for the character of celibates. Renounce money, run upon seeing a woman, do not develop love for money, keep a bowl of iron, do not touch gold, do not reside in a town, never eat food prepared by a female. Pyareo, none of these injunctions are in line with the dictates of Gurbani and Gurmat. Here is another portion. Guru Gobind Singh kahya, जो भाई सिखा नूं हुक्म है, भाई स्त्री दे जामे ते विसाह नहीं करना. Translation: Guru Gobind Singh spoke the command to Sikh brothers, never trust the one born as a female. It is again clear that such an injunction is against the dictates of Gurbani and Gurmat. The Ratnama under the name of Bhai Desa Singh has this verse: Rati afeem jo masa pang, inko khave kadi nisang. Iste adhik na amal vadhave, vade amal te nar dukh pave. Translation: an amount of afeem, an amount of narcotic, a drug, that is one masa, eat it without concern. Do not increase the dosage, else the human being would suffer. Again, it is clear that such an injunction is against the dictates of Gurbani and Gurmat. In Sakhi Rahat Ki, under the name of Bhai Nandalal, the process of the ritual of Shrad, namely ancestor worship, is described. Shrad avan ta 36 prakar ke bhojan kare. Translation: conduct Shrad by preparing 36 different dishes. It goes without saying that these dishes are to be served to the clergy. The Rahatnama under the name of Bhai Daya Singh describes the Khade di Paul process as follows: Sarbalo di kard kaal ji dai, pani kach hanu ji dai, ki barme ne diya. Translation: the iron knife was given by Kal. Mahakal, the kachara, was given by Hanuman. The butter for the Kada Prasad was given by Brahma. This amounts to a clear attempt at hijacking the Khande Deepal ceremony and making it appear that Hindu gods and goddesses were involved in this process. Even the writings of Bhai Gurdas were not spared corrupting and distorting by the Nirmalas. Bhai Gurdas ji, as we know, came into the Sikhi fold from the time of his adoption by the third Guru, Guru Amar Das ji. He spent his youth and adulthood in the company of Guru Ram Das and Guru Arjan. He was the scribe for Pothi Sahib. He was thus amply aware of every word and every verse of Gurbani up till the period of Guru Arjan ji. Published books of the wars and kabits of Bhai Gurdas ji list out 41 wars under his name. The 41st war contains 28 paragraphs and begins with the verse as Bolna Bhai Gurdas ka, meaning narrated by Bhai Gurdas. It ends, this 41st war, with the verse Vah Vah Gobind Singh Appe Gurjela. This is clearly an adulteration on more than one account. For one, Bhai Gurdas had already passed on during the era of Guru Hargobind. So he was not alive to have composed this war about events and happenings that took place during the time of the 10th Guru. Second, the title reads Bolna Bhai Gurdas ka. No one writes the word Bhai for oneself. Clearly, this is corruption, adulteration. More importantly, the content of this war belongs to hijacked Sikhi. For instance, the opening para of this war, these verses appear: Gur Simara Manai Kalaka, Khande ki Vela, Piyo Pahol Khandatar, Hoy Janam Sohela. Meaning, the Guru contemplated and meditated upon goddess Kalaka, Durga, and obtained her blessings at the time of wielding the Khanda. The attempt of the adulteration here is to suggest that Guru Gobind Singh Padsha prayed to Durga for her blessings during the Khande Paul ceremony of 1699. The aim of corrupting the writings of Bhai Gurdas is no different from the one that drove the Nirmalas to corrupt the Ratnamas, which was to subjugate Sikhi into accepting the gods and goddesses of Sanatan and Vedic systems. Dera and Taksali groups have responded to such revelations by saying the Bhai Gurdas who wrote War 41 is a different Bhai Gurdas. Now, if this is the case, then why is the second Bhai Gurdas claiming his war to be the 41st? And who gave him the right to tag his war to the 40 wars of the authentic Bhai Gurdas ji? The agenda of the Nirmalas is clear. They intended to fool the Sikhs into accepting their hijacked content by writing it under the name of an acceptable and accepted Sikh luminary, Bhai Gurdas ji. In any case, the Nirmalas adulterated even the original 40 wars of the authentic Bhai Gurdas. War number 1, for instance, begins with the coming of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak Jag Mahe Pathaya. Now, the next 25 paras of War 1 outline the life and travels of Guru Nanak both within India and outside. The next 3 paragraphs talk about the succession of Guruship from Guru Nanak to Gurus Angad ji, Amar Das Padsha, Ram Das ji, Guru Arjan and Hargobind Padsha. The final para then suddenly brings in Vishnu, Krishna and Ramchandra. One wonders if Bhai Gurdas ji's writing style is so disjointed, so broken, that he parachutes these unrelated entities, Vishnu, Kishan, Ramchandra, into the final para of his first war. The full final para is as follows. Satyug Satgur Vasdev Vava Vishna Naam Japave. Dwapar Satgur Hari Krishan Ha Ha Har Har Naam Te Ave. Trete Satgur Ram Ji Rara Ram Jape Sukh Pave. Kaljug Nanak Gur Gobind Gagga Gobind Naam Japave. Chare Jage Chau Jugi Panchayan Fir Jai Samave. Charo Achar Ek Kar Vaheguru Jap Mantar Japave. Jahan te upajya fir tahan samave. Sikhs are expected to believe that this is Bhai Gurdas, the Sikh luminary and Sikh philosopher extraordinaire, explaining the makeup of the word Vaheguru by breaking it down to the letters Vava, Ha Ha, Gaga, Rara, or V, H, G and R. V is derived from the Satguru of Satyug Vasdev Vishnu. H is derived from the Satguru of Dwapar Hari Krishan. R is derived from the Satguru of Treta Ramchandra. G from Gobind of Kaljug. The concluding verse is Charo Achar Ek Kar Vaheguru Jap Mantar Japave, meaning Guru Nanak combined the 4 letters into Vaheguru and caused the mantra of Vaheguru to be chanted by the world. Now we are expected to accept that Bhai Gurdas has declared Charo Achar Ek Kar Vaheguru Jap Mantar Japave. Now the degree of anti-Sikhi, anti-Gurmat and anti-Gurbani content in this one single para is staggering. The more pertinent, mind-boggling questions are as follows. First, would the real Bhai Gurdas ever refer to Vishnu, Krishan and Ramchandra as Satguru? Second, would the real Bhai Gurdas ever decide to not use the word Satguru for Guru Nanak within the same paragraph where Hindu gods are referred to as Satguru? Third, according to this para, the letter H comes from Krishan. Krishan has many names, none of which start with the letter H. No one in the Indian spiritual world refers to Krishan as Hari Krishan or Har Krishan. As such, this is a fabricated name for Krishan. Surely Bhai Gurdas would do no such thing. Fourth, how did the real Bhai Gurdas know that Guru Gobind Singh Ji would be the final Guru in the Nanak lineage? He had already passed on during the era of the 6th Guru. Fifth, why would the real Bhai Gurdas write a lie under his name that Guru Nanak caused the mantra of Vaheguru to be chanted by the whole world? He knew that Guru Nanak did not use the word Vaheguru even once in his entire Bani in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Neither did Gurus Angad, Amardas, Ramdas and Pacha Arjan. Neither did Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Neither did any of the 15 Bhagats. None of them ever used the word Vaheguru even once in Gurbani. Sixth, Bhai Gurdas Ji knew that our Gurus had rubbished the notion of Satyoga, Dwapara, Treta and Kaljug as being periods of times or eras. He was aware that Guru Nanak had critiqued such a notion in Asa Diwar. Why then would he mention the era of Kaljug, the time frame of Kaljug, as belonging to Sikh Gurus from Nanak to Guru Gobind Singh Ji? It is clear that this body was composed in the post-Guru Gobind Singh era and added on to War number 1 of Bhai Gurdas Ji. The real Bhai Gurdas could not be the author of such a paragraph. He could not have authored this body. All the above 6 points are dead giveaways that this final body is added on much later by the Nirmalas in their attempt to adulterate and corrupt Sikhi. They smuggled this final para in as part of their efforts to hijack Sikhi. Now, how do we know that this corruption and distortion of Bhai Gurdas Ji's writing is done by the Nirmalas? The evidence is found within Nirmala Kavi Santokh Singh's writing, which has the following couplet in volume 1 of his Suraj Prakash Granth. Vavva Vasudev se lino, Hari Krishan te haha line, Gagga Gobind te liye jano, Rara Ramchand man mano. Meaning, the letter Vava was taken from Vasudev, the letter haha from Hari Vishnu, Gobind provided the letter Gagga, and Rara came from Ramchandra. The next couplet advocates the benefits of doing such an act. Chatar Baran ko ek banaya, Faldayak e adk sohaya. Chatar naam simrana kya ek, urdare jis het babek. Meaning, the 4 letters Vava, Haha, Rara and Gagga were put together to create the word Vaheguru. It is an extremely useful, productive and beautiful word. Chanting this one word allows for the chanting of 4 names. One who chants with focus will obtain wisdom. There is plenty of distortion and corruption of the other 39 vars of Bhai Gurdas Ji as well. The Nirmalas have added a whole body of corrupted stuff to virtually every var. We discussed the issue of Sikhadi Bhaktamal above, a text written by the Nirmalas that provide fake narratives of 9 concocted Sikh Bhagats, of how all of these so-called 9 Sikh Bhagats engaged in Brahmanical and anti-Gurmat ways, which was sanctioned by the Gurus. So to provide legitimacy to their act, the Nirmalas surreptitiously added one paragraph, paragraph 14, to var 11 of Bhai Gurdas Ji that listed out these 9 names. In so doing, they rooted and planted their devious corruption in the writings of Bhai Gurdas. Such is the meticulousness, the diligence, the thoroughness, and the deviousness of the ways in which the Banaras-trained and educated Nirmalas conducted the corruption and distortion of Sikhi. One wonders if the Sikhi of Guru Nanak ever stood a chance against such deep and insidious efforts to destroy it from the inside. In any case, Pyareo, the adulteration of the writings of Bhai Gurdas is a subject for Sikh writers, Sikh intellectuals and researchers to take up, primarily because the Sikh Rahat Maryada accepts the writings of Bhai Gurdas Ji as fit for rendering as Kirtan. The next video will look at major Nirmala texts that played pivotal and crucial roles in distorting Sikh history to the max. I hope you will continue to join me in this painful and dreadful but critically important endeavor relating to the systematic and organized hijacking of the Sikhi of Guru Nanak.